My name is 20Young. I've been doing spinal cord injury research for about 35 years. It's been the passion of my life to get people walking again. Right now is the most incredible time for stem cells. We're, in the first time in human history, putting things in rather than taking things out. I mean, doctors are able to repair, regenerate tissue, and umbilical cord blood cells are really the place where all the action is at. Stem cells from umbilical cord blood have now been used to treat over 70 different diseases. We just completed 3 clinical trials in China that suggest that umbilical cord blood cells can restore walking function in people with spinal cord injury. 75% of the people that we treated, that's 15 out of 20 patients, are now walking with minimal assistance. And these are people who started out with no function, many of them, for 7 to 14 years after spinal cord injury. The treatment of cancer. Cancer that children have, pediatric tumors, and you have to give them chemotherapy. But if you give them too much chemotherapy, what happens is you wipe out their bone marrow and then you see the kid die in front of your eyes. But with umbilical cord blood cells, you can swoop in, give them a new set of cells for their own bone marrow, and this allows the oncologists to treat more aggressively and therefore cure more kids with leukemia and Hodgkin's disease and other conditions like this. The primary cause of cerebral palsy. Not enough blood goes to the brain gets damaged, the child doesn't meet the milestones. If you take umbilical cord blood cells and you infuse it back into the kids during the first 24 to 48 hours after the birth, you can reduce the damage to the brain. The area of treating genetic diseases is growing very, very rapidly. And these are kids who would otherwise die. If you replace the bone marrow with umbilical cord blood cells from a normal baby, this cures the genetic disease for the kids. If you really think about other stem cells that people have been talking about over the last 10 years, for example, embryonic stem cells, or the so-called induced pluripotent stem cells, or people are talking about adult stem cells that you get from fat tissue or you get from bone marrow. These things have not been used to the same extent as umbilical cord blood cells. And umbilical cord blood cells is actually leading the way in all these diseases. Every cord blood unit that they ship out saves a life. There are very few drugs you can say that about. There are very few anything you can sell that actually everything you do is saving lives through the use of one type of stem cells, and it's the umbilical cord bloods. Umbilical cord blood cells are by far the preferred therapy.